Okay, uh, part 3. This part will be the optional bosses, and then it will go straight into DLC bosses for the Old Hunters DLC. Man, there are still video glitches with SharePlay. The fuck? This is Celestial Emissary. It's a crowd control boss. Just make sure you don't get thrown into a corner or surrounded by them. Just have them follow you, and you can take them out one at a time. There's one in specific you need to actually attack to lower the health, which around half health he turns big and makes it just easier to hit him because he's a bigger target. The area leading to this boss is harder than the actual boss itself. You can see there that if you get surrounded, you can easily be taken out. They die in like a few hits though, so it's not that bad. And they keep respawning, so there's no point in like trying to kill all of them before you kill him. Honestly, very similar to the vacuous spider fight, Ron. He's very similar to this fight, except this fight the boss actually attacks you more than Ron does. And that's that. You can make it even faster if you use fire paper to put fire damage on your weapon. This is... what's this one's name? Amygdala. Yeah. This one you can either try and focus on the head, which isn't the easiest thing to do, or you can lock off and focus on the arms. Just make sure you stay underneath the boss for most of it, because underneath it is where you're the most safe. You still get hit every now and then, but it's best to stay underneath it. This is another boss where it can be really easy if you use fire paper to get some extra damage on it. Try your best to avoid that laser. It does a lot. There's also like a hit point like right in its crotch that can do a lot of damage if you hit it right. I somehow didn't get the visceral attack on that. I don't know what happened. But through most of this fight, I just try and block off and try to attack the arms, which isn't the easiest thing to do. You miss a lot of the attacks when you do that. There's not really much I can say about this fight. Just stay underneath it and you'll be safe through most of it. Oh, and he heals his arms every now and then, so you can break them again and stun him, and then get the visceral attack if you're quick enough about it. And that's Amygdala. And then I think there's one more optional boss, and then it's on to the DLC. So yeah, this is Abradus, the most difficult optional boss, I'd say. Now, I try to get, like, fancy here and use the gun to attack its head, but that wasn't working out for me. And I also got oil urns to try and do fire damage, but then I forgot my actual Molotov cocktails, so that was a waste. So I just had to do it the normal way. Now she has like 2 tails in the back, and you can like get stuck behind them, and you can just R1 spam, and that'll do a lot. The biggest problem about this boss is how big its health bar is. It's got a fuck ton of health. See here, I get stuck in between the tails, but if she decides to move, you'll get hit. Because every time she moves, her entire body is a hitbox. So, and for most of her frontwards attacks, you can just dodge off to the right side and it'll miss you. That seems to be, well, it doesn't seem to be, it is a trend for all bosses that aren't like humans. Just dodge to the left or right and then stick to their ass, and you'll probably win. Like, that's the golden rule. And the charge attack, just the same thing, dodge to the right or to the left. But if you're like me and you're greedy, you'll get hit by this stuff anyways. Oh, that's another thing. Halfway through this fight, she starts like screaming or something. And just the screaming alone drains her health bar, so a lot of this fight is also blood vial management. Make sure your health is good. And I believe that's every optional boss in the game, aside from the 2 final bosses. So it's probably just DLC bosses now, right? Oh, that's right. There's one more. It's, this dude. I don't remember his name. Martyr Logarius. That's right. I tend to try and stay close to him because he's got like a bunch of ranged attacks that will fuck you up. So I think this is one of the few humanoid bosses where you can stand behind him and you're mostly safe. He likes to jump around a lot though, so he can easily get away from you. Just fire paper and try and stick behind him, or just stun lock him like I do, and you'll have a pretty easy time with it. Those attacks are really generous because of how big the buildup is. They're pretty easy to dodge. He likes to spam them though, so they can be kind of irritating. And from what I can tell, I can't really notice any big phase changes. but that might be because of how fast he dies. I know he does have an attack where he'll start, like, sending swords all over the arena, and that could do a lot, but he didn't do that for me here, so... Pretty simple boss, really. And now it's DLC, right? Right? Right, okay, so this is Ludwig. This was my first time through the DLC, so these are me figuring out how to do these bosses. Don't stay underneath him, don't stay behind him, stick to his right or left side. That's the best place to be. Because if you break those legs, you can stun him and do massive damage. And for that attack, it's difficult to dodge. So what I just did is just run forward or just keep dodging and hope for the best. His charge attack, it can do a lot. As you saw earlier, it did like 1/3 of my health. And then once you get him down to halfway, he'll stand upright and he'll pull out his holy sword, and he'll have like these laser attacks and shit. It's the same thing though, just stay to his left side. So, don't really dodge backwards, dodge forward through most of these. And he's got one charge attack that's a really good opportunity to either do damage or heal up if you need to. This one, yeah, because he slams it down and then he stands there for a while, so that's a really good opportunity to heal or get some good damage off on him and maybe break those legs so you can get a visceral attack off on him. And that's Ludwig, the Holy Blade. That's a lot of people's favorite boss in this game. Not my favorite, but it's alright. Alright, what's next? I believe it was the second Vicar. Yeah. No, the first Vicar. Lawrence. This one is pretty much the same as Vicar Amelia that you fight. Well, not Vicar Amelia. It's pretty much similar to the Cleric Beast that you fight on the bridge. In fact, it's the exact same boss with some fire damage up until like the last 1/3 or second half of the fight. So just dodge his attacks and stick to his ass, the golden rule, through most of the fight. So, not much I can really add onto that. You saw the Cleric Beast. You've done it by now, so you know his patterns. You can shoot this one's head to stun him and get a visceral off on him, just like the Cleric Beast. It's the same boss through most of it. It's just he's scaled for endgame. Alright, that's his first buff, so he does more damage and he healed his limbs. Slightly more damage, not much more. But he healed his limbs. That's his grab attack, which is the same as the Cleric Beast. And another thing that's different is all of his attacks have like an AoE thing to them. So like even if him himself doesn't hit you, his area of effect will. Okay, and this is the second half where it just deletes the golden rule because he just throws away his ass. It's just gone. And he gets like ranged attacks because he can throw lava at you. One thing you could do, if you have the weapon, is, it's the sword that turns into a bow and arrow. You can use that to fight him in this phase. That's the easy way to do it. I don't know what I was trying here with the bone marrow ash. It wasn't really doing much, but it allowed me to stay away from him for a bit. This, just dodge backwards from him when he starts charging at you. And that big swing he does with his big arm, that's a good opportunity to dodge in, get 2 hits off on him, and then dodge away. This one you have to be much more patient with during the second phase. You can get like 2 hits off and then you have to dodge away so he doesn't kill you in like 2 or 3 hits. And his lava attack, if you can get up to him before he hits you with it, is a good time to attack him. I get a little bit greedy in here because I feel like I had figured it out by that point, so I was like getting real close to him, and I ended up getting hit for it. So just don't get greedy. Just stay patient, and that right there is a good point to get damage in. The boss is more or less done by now. He does his charge attacks, he does his sweeping attacks. That's what caught me the most, his projectile vomit. And he kept spamming his charge at me. And then there I got greedy because I just wanted the fight to be over with at that point. I feel like there's another phase, like towards the last 10th of the fight, where he gets much more aggressive and makes it harder to get close to him, but that's Lawrence, the second DLC boss. And I believe that's it for this video, yeah. So, part 4 will be the last 3 bosses of the DLC. So, see you then.